What's up guys, welcome to your 14th 3D Studio Max tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be covering editable polygons. Now this is probably what you're going to use when you're making the rest of your animations from now on, actually, like character models or cars or anything actually. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Go ahead and click sphere and create a sphere, and just press W on your keyboard for the move tool and bring it up and bring it out so it's into view. There we go. So now that we created a sphere, what we would usually do according to our last tutorials is right click it and create editable spline. But what we want to do is right click this, press convert to, and convert to editable poly. Now I can't show you this or else my screen recorder will mess up it again. I'm going to right click it, convert to editable poly. So you do that and I'll see you in a second. Alright guys, I just selected this, converted it to editable poly, and it brought up our modify tab and it shows that this is indeed an editable poly. So there are two different ways that we can alter this, and that is with our modifiers, and those are things we learned before, that does weird transformations through this, or we can work with each of the individual sub-objects. So if we go ahead and expand this menu right here, we can see them all. The vertex is all the points that make up the object. The edges, let me see, I could probably scroll in this one a little better. The edges are these lines. The edges are what connect the vertexes. You don't want to work with border usually unless you're doing something real specific. The poly is each one of these shapes, or each face of it pretty much. So the polys are the faces, and the last one, the elements. If you have any if you have a couple objects in here, then it's going to select the entire thing. So you don't really want to work with elements a lot. What we're going to be doing is work with poly like 99% of the time. Poly and probably polygons, so we can work with the faces. But for right now, go to vertex because that's where we're going to be working with. And let's just zoom in a little bit. Right there. And another thing I want to point out, let's just zoom in a little bit for more. Anytime we have one of these sub-objects selected, it's going to turn red. So we can select them by clicking on them. We can also click and drag to select a multiple amount, or if we want to select non-adjacent ones, we can click, hold control, click, click, and then we get random ones if we hold down control and click. So that's how we select various what they're called, sub-objects. And again, once you select them, they're going to turn red. Now a problem that we have with selecting sub-objects is, here's what happens. Whenever you select a sub-object like this, it doesn't only select the ones you see. What it does is it looks through this, and if you can see in this one, probably shouldn't have just selected them all, it not only selects the ones in front right here, but it selects the ones behind it too. And that's because if I turn this, whenever I select it, the box here, what's a better way to see this? Like right here. Whenever I select these up here, it looks through, and now you can see it selected the ones behind it too. So not only the ones that you could see, but the ones through, that the ones you couldn't see as well. So this is a problem whenever we're trying to work with only this side of the sphere. So what do we want to do that whenever we could select it like this, it only selects these and not the ones behind it too? Like there. Well, let's go back home, and what we can do is check this little box. Need to take a break here for a second, and this is called ignore backfacing. And what this little thing does is it only selects the ones with the normals pointing towards you, or in other words, it only selects the ones that you can see and it doesn't go through it. So now when we have that checked and we select this, look at this, the ones in the back are not checked, only the ones in front. How awesome is that? So I usually have ignore backfacing on all the time. I don't really know why they have it as the default off, because you usually want to have it on. So now with those selected, let's go ahead and, well, I want to teach you guys one more thing. Another thing that you can do is grow or shrink your selection. Whenever you make a selection, like let's say we select these two vertices right here, whenever we grow, it expands our selection outward. So what's a better view for this? Let me see. Here we go. As you can see, I have 2 selected now. Then when I grow that, it has all of these selected. Then when I press grow again, it has a huge range selected right here. So I can do the opposite of that by shrinking, 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 shrinking until nothing's left. So that's another way to alter your selection. But for now, let's go ahead and do something with this. I'm going to select these two right here, and make sure you have ignore back facing off. Press W to get your move tool and go ahead and pull them out. So now we have this little thing popping out of our sphere right there. So now let's go down here and select, let's go ahead and select something like that one. Hold down Control, and you probably just want to work with your select object. This one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. Now go ahead and press W again, and let's go ahead and take those and Y and move them back, like right there. So let me see how it looks. So now we got something that looks like a nose, kind of, and a mouth. And again, I'm just teaching you how to use them. I'm not making a real good animation, but I guess the only thing we need now is eyes. This pretty much looks like a jack-o'-lantern, but hey, whatever. So now in order to get eyes, here's what I'm going to do. Go back and get out of your modify panel and go to the create panel, and let's go ahead and create 2 spheres. So in your standard primitives, go ahead and create a sphere right there. That looks good. Now let's go ahead and move that up, and if we zoom out a little bit, we can move it over, up, and over, and just back a little bit to set it in his head. Gotta position this just right, don't want to mess it up. Right there. Actually, we probably should move it over a little bit. He ain't no Cyclops. So then after that, go ahead with this selected, hold down Shift on your keyboard, and we can move it over to this side right here and move it back just like that. So what Shift does is create a copy of it, which you should know from the other tutorials. So now we have this little dude with a nose that we extruded using the vertices, and also the mouth, which we selected all the vertices and pushed them back. So that is your real quick tutorial on how to make a jack-o'-lantern type. Again, didn't want to really create anything this tutorial. I just wanted to show you how you can use your vertices and sub-objects to select different parts of the sphere, sphere, and move them in and out. So look at that. That is a professional looking. They should put that in a video game or something. Mr. Jack-o'-lantern. That is good. I gotta say that. Gotta put this on my resume. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you know how to work a little bit with editable polys now. In the next tutorial, we're going to be learning how to work with them in an advanced kind of way. So again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.